Yo guys, so I'm just gonna do, it's a mini chat. It's the first impressions and a first experience video, so I'll probably add more to it as we go. But we got Tears of the Kingdom recently. Now, I didn't think we'd ever get this, but we got it. So I'd watched people talk about it, I'd watched people review it because I was just thought I'm never going to get to play it. So I just looked at people review it and I heard a lot of people were very disappointed by it. I was incredibly disappointed that they didn't include underwater stuff. I was upset about it when you got the Zora armor in Breath of the Wild and it didn't allow you to go underwater. It just allowed you to swim a little bit faster and swim at waterfalls, which is really cool. Why can't you swim over the surface like you can at the waterfalls? Like, I just was so disappointed that I thought the Zora armor would allow you to go underwater. No, it doesn't. It's a surface swimming game and this is the same, and I'm really disappointed about it because I thought that would be something new to add to their game. It would make it feel really fresh and new, and the water in this game is absolutely beautiful. I don't even like the fact that, like, they could have done like an animation where you're above a chest and you dive down under the water to open up the chest under the water instead of having to use magnesis ice to get the chests out of the water. It would have just felt a little bit more like we were getting something with water, and it's kind of infuriating having to pick up chests all the time out of the water. So the water is gorgeous and I really was disappointed that you never got to go under it, and I thought maybe that's something they would add to Tears of the Kingdom to make it bigger and more vast. I mean, who doesn't want to go under that water? It's absolutely beautiful. The people that don't like underwater sections in games who are pleased about it, I imagine, but I'm really disappointed about it. They didn't even add this in. Wop, wop, wop. They added an underground section, which I kind of wish they didn't. I kind of wish they'd done underwater stuff instead. I really don't like the underground sections. I find them so boring. And God did it frustrate me. I mean, it's an error of mine. Next time I play, I'll know better. Because I was firing the glow shrubs, I've forgotten what they're called, off of my arrows. And I got to a frog, a flux, fix, it's something fuchs, I don't know what it's called. It's a big fat fecking frog, and I found it so stressful because I'd used all of my arrows by the time I got to it. You can throw bombs at it, and I ran out of bombs as well. I ran out of resources by the time I got to this frog, and then I realised it was an optional thing and I didn't have to do it really, and I was rather annoyed because I'd eaten all of my food. I was so desperate. I was even eating the fire flower things that you use as fire on your arrows. I was even eating these. I was drinking all of me potions. It's like in no time at all, eating all my vegetables, eating all the fruit, eating all the fire flowers, drinking potions because I was desperate to stay alive. And I'm like, he's got to get the runs. Like, he's gonna get the runs because he's just consuming all of these different things in a fucking short time period. I hadn't really cooked anything. I didn't have any ingredients. I came to this frogging completely unprepared because I didn't know it was going to be a thing I had to fight in here. And then I got to the Jaeger feckin' boss where he's flying around in his bloody ship and I've got nothing. I've got no arrows and I'm having to use the springboard thing to get up and just try and land on his goddamn ship as he flies around his goddamn plane thing. It was so stressful. There was a funny moment where I activated the spring as he came over me with his flaming ship. I just died in a cartwheeling flaming surprise. I just died instantly, but I was just cartwheeling. Flaming cartwheeling corpse was just going through the air. So I really like the puzzle parts, like the puzzle, and shrines are more puzzly things and you have to build stuff. And I always thought I was quite clever when it came to puzzles, but after playing this, I think I'm quite stupid. I've completed something by building something and I'm absolutely positive there was a way more simple way to do that. There was a way more simpler explanation, but my brain hasn't seen it. But there was a part where I had to get a cart. getting the Koroks out of things to their friends. I got separated from my friend. Got this really big bag on my back. I can't move. And I just lie there in a panic. I'll never get to see my friend again. There was one time I couldn't get him up the cliff because I didn't have nothing. I don't have like hot air balloons yet or anything. I can't get anything up a cliff. So I tried to go round the cliff with it, just picking it up and taking it round. And I just couldn't make progress. And he just ended up rolling down the cliff. But then he just landed in the water and I just thought, sorry buddy, I can't help you. And I just left him there, just floating in the water in distress. You could just throw him in the water. I need to get to my friend. Ah, fuck that, I don't have time for it. Go in the water. Just floating away downstream with little sweat beads coming off of his head where it's so stressed I can't get to his friend. And he's floating further and further away from his friend. He's just a little speck in the distance now. His smoke cloud from his friend is just a thing in memory, so he just has to forget about it. But they do spawn back where they were, so don't feel too bad if you throw one in the water and leave him to float away. But then there's a track and it's broken and there's a hawk and a cart and 2 fans, and I was like, okay, I've got the idea to put the cart on the track, then put a fan on the back, and then put a fan on the right side where the hole is, and then the fan hopefully will make it float across the gap. It will give it that lift that it needs to get across the gap. That's the thing I had in mind, and I thought, I don't know if it's going to work, let me try it. It worked a little bit too successfully because it like lifted my cart completely off the track and made it go completely upside down. And I was just falling and I didn't react. I was just like, well, that didn't go to plan, did it? It kind of worked a little bit too well. I thought you'd be able to fix that simp, you know, the simp that likes Hudson a little bit too much. He's holding up his signs. He's complaining, I need to hold these up and I've got to do it. I wish I didn't have to do it, but I'll do it for Hudson because he's my bae. And I was like, he's got like building equipment next to it. Like it's got some poles, like some posts, wooden posts. And I thought, surely I glue that on to the sign and then he doesn't have to hold it no more. But no, it can't do this. I can't believe it. I thought you'd be able to glue it on. It would fix his sign and he wouldn't have to hold it. But no, he can't fix his signs at all. So he just has to stand there holding these signs all the time. I can't get my brain around rotating anything in this game. It rotates on an axis. You have to kind of straighten it first and then kind of rotate it to an angle. But my brain cannot adjust to it at all. I just want to rotate it with the stick or something. Rotate it round with the stick, but it don't work like that. You have to rotate it on an axis. And I can't figure it out. The amount of times it just goes round in the wrong direction and just spinning it for ages, just changing the angle, spinning the wrong way. I call it UFO move because it's like a ceiling. It's where you go through the ceiling. I call it UFO because the picture just looks like Link's being abducted by a UFO. Purah's voice is strange. Sounds like a female voicing a male character. It's the best way I can describe it. It sounds like Tails, where it was a female voicing him for a while, even though he was a boy. It sounds like that. Why is Purah's voice so weird?
Linky, you're not a ghost, are you? Hey, that looks interesting. One step at a time. What exactly happened?
Well, by the time we stopped to look around, it was over and we'd already won.
All qualified candidates welcome. Best candidate gets the job. I'm a lock. Unless there's something you're not telling me.
I don't understand that really. But at least she's not that annoying feckin' child. I hate that character, Purah from Breath of the Wild. I don't see the appeal of her at all. She's so aggravating. It's just a cliche kawaii character, isn't it? Cliche, I'm such a cute kawaii child character. It's like, will you just calm the fuck down? Why do you have to be a child? Just so annoying. I don't like her character at all. She's just so... Whenever I have to talk to Purah, I'm like, for God's sake, do I really have to do this? It's just a part of the game. It's like the Great Fairies. I'll soon skip past this bit completely. I haven't even been to the fairies yet. I don't want to. Howdy. So I'm stopping in to continue a little bit of chat about Tears of the Kingdom. So I must say I'm really enjoying this game. I do think it's better than Breath of the Wild. I heard people say they prefer Breath of the Wild. I've done 2 of the temples. The fire temple is just... I don't know the proper way about tackling the fire temple. I feel like I did it completely wrong. Like, I tried to ceiling jump at, sorry, somebody's leaf blowing outside, isn't it glorious? The minute I decide to make a video, then the leaf blower comes out, so I do apologise about the sound outside. Like, my idea was to get as high as I could in the temple and then sort of look around and discover where to go, but I don't know if I hindered myself doing this. I don't know what the proper way of doing this temple is. I don't think there's a right or a wrong way to do it. I think that's the thing about this game. It gives you stuff and lets you do it the way you want. It lets you figure it out. Like, there's multiple ways of doing shrines, and I think it's really great that you can kind of decide your own path in this game. But I just feel like it took me quite a long time to get through the temple, and I don't know whether that's just because I did it wrong, but I really like the temples so far. They feel a little bit like the Divine Beasts a little bit. They're not massive, really. There's not much to them. Speaking of rails, because the Fire Temple has a shit ton of rails in it, and I quite enjoyed it, even though I feel like I did it wrong. But there was a shrine I did, it was rail based, and I just completely fucked myself over. It's where you have to like build these things to ride along rails. It's like called Riding the Rails or something. Fun, excellent time with the rails. I can't remember the name for the shrine, and I can't remember what the title of the shrine is, but you had to create these things to ride along rails. The first time I did it, I just built a simple little this shape and hooked it over the rail, and it fell off. So I was like, well, that's not how you do it then, is it? And then Marcus did it that way and it didn't fall off for him, so I don't understand what I did wrong. So then I built like a hanging carriage thing that was fine. There was no way it was going anywhere. It was basically a square with no front and back, and it just hung over the rails. You know, the final one, I took parts from the previous thing that I'd made, because it was already there, and I thought, well, surely more parts will actually make this better for me. No, I was in here for about 40 minutes and I was beyond stressed because I couldn't get this bloody thing up this track. So I'm working with all these parts. They're too heavy. I can't make it up the rail. So I tried simplifying it and it still was too heavy. I realised that I just messed it up for myself by trying to incorporate more bits than they wanted you to do. Because when I tried it again without doing this and just used I think it's the 4 pieces supplied to you and the fans, and I made it fine. I was amazed at how fecking easy it went up and how well it worked. Like, I was amazed that it went up the track. Like, the way I did it, I was like, this ain't gonna work. I mean, logically it makes sense, but this ain't gonna work. It did work really well, actually, and it just sailed up the rail. There's a part where you're in the sky or in the clouds, in the heavens, and you have to get this crystal over to this shrine, and it's on the other side. It's just, you can see where it is, but you have to glide over on a glider. I am not confident about gliders. I just even with the steering, I hated when you didn't have a steering mechanism and you had to use your body to steer the glider. I hated that, but now I have a steering mechanism, it's slightly less scary. But yeah, I've put all my gliders, I've put the skateboard on the bottom and the fans all near. I put the crystal there, the steering device, and I'm ready to go. And off I go. I got off and I'm flying. I'm like, this is nice. See the land swiftly approaching my glider. This is the first time I'd properly used a proper glider, like with the steering and everything on it. And it's approaching the land, or I have to drop the crystal off, and I'm trying to get off it, and I let go, and I'm sort of like, oh god, scared of the wrong angle, and I panic, and I sort of like get back on steering again, and that obviously turns everything on, and we're nearly going out to go walkie off. Is the problem? Oh my god, what do I do? So I just jumped off it. Oh damn, my crystal stuck to it. I need to get the crystal, and the glider just went over. just went over in front of me. It was going up and it was gone. The glider was gone. So, but blueprints, so the easy build, a quick build, instant build is really great, isn't it? But you get to look at all of the things you've built, and it's like a sad reminder of these shame builds of when you was learning the game and you didn't quite understand really how the building worked, and you've got like this, I don't know what it is, this T-shaped structure with one wheel on it. And you've got this in your history as a cute reminder. Look at this cute cute little thing you built. What was you doing with that? Some sort of unicycle? I didn't understand. I hate the fact you can't delete them. You can't get rid of them and send them into the pits of hell. It just needs to incinerate in the fires of Mount Doom. I just need to forget about it because I obviously didn't know what I was doing, but it's there as a little reminder. I hate the fact you can't get rid of it. So I mentioned in my other video that the guy with the signs, I thought you'd have to fix his signs. I figured out you can fix his signs, but you can't attach the pieces onto the sign. You have to build something to support the sign. You have to build a structure. Sometimes I think there's no way that's going to fall over. It's let go and it's fell a total different direction to what I've expected, and the structure has not supported it in the slightest, and he's had a panic attack and complained and questioned his life choices. Oh, President, I'm so sorry. You're going to put me in the torture chamber for letting you down, letting your sign fall over. So yeah, you can actually fix his signs. I like it. It's like a cute little puzzle. So I must say, I do think it's better than Breath of the Wild. It's kind of the same game. Looks the same, plays the same kind of, but I think if you went back to Breath of the Wild after this, you would realise how much Tears of the Kingdom brings to it, because there's some things that I think I would miss when I played Breath of the Wild. Like, I do miss Rivali's Gale. I do miss being able to just get some height. It's really, really handy getting a distance with the bird. I don't know what he's called. Birdie Friend. Birdie Friend gives you a little blast, and the building as well is just a really fun little thing. I thought this ain't Banjo-Kazooie nuts and bolts, and I thought I wouldn't like the building, but it is a little difficult to understand and get used to. I think it just takes a little bit of getting used to. Sticking things in the right places, sometimes you think it's lined up and it's not at all. It's like it's in the centre and off to the left. It's not at the back of the thing at all. But I really like building stuff, especially in shrines where you've got to build stuff and connect the bridges, and I think some of the shrines are really, really fun and puzzly, and I really am enjoying them. There's certain things that I just love that they've done, like the blue peas. It's so sad in Breath of the Wild, these little rabbits with owl faces. I didn't know they had an owl face because you can't get a good look at them in Breath of the Wild. They just know that you're there. You try and sneak up on it. Somebody wants a picture of one. That's just a feckin' nightmare. They just know as soon as the camera comes out, somebody try to take my picture. Sneaking up with all my sneaking armour on. I've got my sneaking potions. I've eaten sneaky food. I'm the sneakiest I'm ever going to sneak. And they just fecking know that you're there. The camera has made so much sound coming out of your pocket. Don't ever take a picture of a Lionel. They just hate that shit. You try to take my picture? I didn't give permission for that. I can't get the hang of the camera controls. I don't know why. I tried to just stand once to get a picture of me in front of a Lionel. Hey, look, Lionel. Look at him. I'm so brave. Look how angry he is. I love the Lionel's little faces, by the way. When you flurry them and you see the little faces in slow motion. But I just try to look Lionel. By the time I figured out how to fucking take a picture, it's got his bow out and it's shot at me. Also, there's a thing about Mr. Floppy Face himself. Lord of the Mountain, who was such a magnificently beautiful, intriguing, majestic creature, wasn't he? All you got to do was ride him for a little bit and that was it. Feed him apples with his floppy face, admire his floppy face. That's all you can do. I don't know what the deal is with him in this, but he seems like he's got more of a thing going on. You feed him apples at the trees. There's cherry blossom trees, more of them. There's a little bowl and you put some apples in it and he peers and he marks these caves where you can get the frogs with the stones in them. Have these frogs eaten the blue peas? Because the blue pea always runs out and I always feel a bit sad about it. I was a bit sad I would shoot the frog off. It's just living its best life in the caves, not doing no harm to no one, and they just fall off the ceiling and die, and then a blue pea runs out and you get a gem. The guy that wants to eat them, they're not just a bit spiky. It isn't like eating a supercharged Toblerone which pokes you in the roof of the mouth. It's like eating a cactus. What are you eating that for? It's always like, oh, I feel it bubbling up inside me. It's like that's the stone impaling your intestines. That's what that is. Yeah, blue peas, you really get a good look at them, and if you sneak up on them, they don't even know you're there. Once I landed next to one, I paraglided in and noticed one, and I just landed behind it. I was this far away from it, and I was just looking at it. God, it's so sweet, but it has an owl face. I'm not quite sure how I feel about it. I love the little jingly sound effect of them as well, when they run away over the hills when they've noticed you're there. I just think they've done better things with the blue piece, for example. I think they realised that people just wanted to look at them and just appreciate the bloopy cuteness, and they couldn't because they buggered off no time at all. Since they sensed you were there, they were off and disappeared, and you're there just feeling sad. You wanted to take a picture. Who's living in my house? Link's house is still there, but it's no longer Link's house. The shed is open on it, so I was so, oh, I can go in the shed. Oh wow, it's a shed. It's so exciting. I've always wondered what's in there. It's a shed, basically. There's some paint pots and some ladders in it. Yeah, you're just like, who the feck is in my house? I did not give permission. There's a sign outside saying Link's house. Can you not read? Zelda's live in there. Isn't that cool? She made an underground secret room. There's also a room on the side of the house. This is going to be the new mystery. We now know what's in the brown room at the back of the house. It's the garden shed. There's now, if you look at the house, there's a bit that sticks out that doesn't do that inside the house. So there's a hidden room that we don't know what is in. So dragons, they've still got the dragons in it. I just don't know what this is about, these dragons, but they make me emotional to look at them. I think they're so delightful that they make me emotional when I really get a good look at one. I don't know why, but I just think it's the legs. Their legs are just so beautiful. Their little scoopy leg animation. Whoever animated these dragons needs a raise, because the animation of this it's just a long dragon. That's all it is really, but it's got many legs and they do this scooping animation. And holy cow, is it the cutest thing. I just can't get enough of these dragons. I just love them to bits. So yesterday I was playing and there happened to be one going down one of the holes into the underground. And I just went down with it. I landed on it and I was in awe, because I landed on it and I was like, oh my god, this is always been my dream, to be able to touch these dragons. You just can't get close to them, can you, in Breath of the Wild? So I was riding on this dragon in the underground and I saw all the stuff going past. I should really be jumping off and taking advantage of being able to get to places that is really hard to do, but I just couldn't get off this dragon. It was amazing. It wasn't happy about it. It was so calming. I was just stood on the horn of the dragon and I was just looking at its legs. I was like zoomed in with the Pura pad, just zoomed into its legs, looking at its feet. It's really close. Oh, look at it, so cute. Its little eyes. I close my eyes really slowly. Do 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 do. Music do do do. My ears are floppy and so sweet. Look at my eyes, oh, so close. Oh, it's so sweet. Look at it. So I was riding on this dragon. It was amazing. It was electrifying the entire time. It was just like just electric balls coming off his body. It was just, you could tell it knew I was there and it was like, can you get off please? I'm not a taxi, can you please get off? Oh, it was the most amazing thing ever. I was so sad when I had to leave it, when it went up the hole and I couldn't grab onto it. I tried so hard to do so. Then I shot it in the foot and got a claw and it's like, how dare you? But yeah, oh, it was amazing. I couldn't believe my luck. The fact I could ride this dragon. Oh god, it's so sweet. It's like made my day. Absolutely made my week, actually. So isn't that wonderful? Speaking of dragons that aren't so wonderful, aren't those dragons just absolutely awful? I haven't fought one of them. I just see them in the distance. You just look at them from a distance and you're like, nope. They're just so scary looking, aren't they? They just look absolutely terrifying. I'm like, nah, I don't even really want to fight one of them, because look at how terrifying it is, and it's got 3 heads. 3 times the personality. Oh god, just scary. Speaking of scary, can we take a moment to appreciate the Hands of Doom? No idea what any of the enemies are called in this other than Hinox. Hinox. which are an absolute nightmare to hit in the eye. I'm absolutely hopeless at hitting these things in the eye. I've got a really annoying talent for being able to shoot things really, really close to the bodies, like past their ear, under their armpit. I do it so often, just graze the side of their head. It's like it's an annoying talent that I have, not hitting the enemy, but getting very close to it. These hands are awful. I don't know what the hell the hands are called. Hell hands. Palms of fury. Eyes of fists are us. I don't know what the hell these things are called, but they're awful. The music alone is absolutely terrifying. The music that accompanies these hands, and the fact you don't see them until they're there. They just come out of the ground and you're like, oh fuck, well fucking hell. The first time I encountered one, I was a bit like, oh, hands. I saw pictures of them, and I was just like, hands with eyes. I was like, a bit Pan's Labyrinth, isn't it? But cool story, I suppose. But actually encountering them in the game is another level of experience. So the first time I saw one, I was not prepared for it. It just came out and I was like, oh, there's one of those hands. And it didn't really faze me. I was just like, okay, the hands, run away, get up fast, get away from it. But the second time, I was just like, oh no, please, no, please, no, get away, no. Just like, oh, they're just absolutely awful, aren't they? I just think they're so scary, and they're so fast and persistent. There's a treasure you've got to get in a cave, and it's got one of them on the floor, and it's a fucking damp cave. The slip is still a pain in the tits. And they've put things in the game now to help you with slippage, but does it do jack shit against slippage? No, it doesn't. You have a climbing suit, which is a frog. I think the head could have looked more like a frog, to be honest. Well, if you're going to make a frog suit, I think it's supposed to be a frog suit. Looking at the feet and the hands, the head looks nothing like a frog. If you're going to go a frog, at least commit to making it look like a frog. I think it would have really been a cute, even look like a frog. It would have been really sweet, but no, it looks nothing like a frog. But I don't know how effective the suit is, but it still makes you slip from what I hear. So yeah, I had to get this treasure in a slippy cave with these hands, and it was really hard to make it up. It's just a puddle with some hands in it. I don't like hands anyway. Like I talked about, hands, that scary horror hands I don't like, but I don't think these fit that category. I just think they're so creepy and they're so dangerous. Oddly, they're never in the underground, even though that's where they should be. They're just out in Hyrule Field living their best life, basically grabbing and groping people as they go past. Hey, you didn't see me, did you? I just come out the ground, oh bloody hell. And he's running on me, he's running away. They're like, Frank, look, Frank. Boys, look, Frank, he's running away. Can have that effect on everyone, don't they? They just want to come out. You want to come here for some cake and tea? I'm so lonely. Boris is so annoying. I have to be with him all the time. And this part of, Frank is no better. Frank's an absolute nightmare. He watches the most rubbish TV. But those cowboy movies aren't very good, really, are they? They just eat around the campfire eating beans and farting all the time. Oh, I love it. The cowboys are so good, aren't they? The ones at the back like, will you shut the fuck up? We just want to watch America's Next Top Model. So they just don't get on, and they just want to invite people in, but they've got a really bad way of doing it. Let me grab you, caress you, like bloody great fairies. They still didn't upgrade the fairy design. They could have done. They got rid of those feckin' fairies and made them a bit more beautiful. Now look exactly the same, but now they're like, I don't want to come out of my pod. It's so dangerous out there. The gloom hands, gloominess, the hands, I don't want to come out. So now you have to do shit for getting people to play instruments. I don't want to come out until I hear the flute. The flute makes me feel so good. I want to come out. The flute is there. I like getting the people to the things in the carriage. I love the carriage, like transporting something on a carriage, on your horse, feels so lovely. I don't know what it is. It feels so therapeutic and relaxing, and I love the sounds of it and just the feel of pulling a carriage. So if I have to go down a path with get a Korok, my friend, I've separated, and I always put them on a carriage and take them. It takes extra time, but it's really nice to do so. So we have guides in this. I forgot what they're called in this. I completely forgotten what they're called. But you get these characters that help you. You do the temples and they help you in spirit. I can't remember what the hell they're called though. So these piss me off quite a lot. I'm really grateful for them because I fought a blocky creature monster. A flux block monster in the underground, and without this bird to assist me I probably would have done it, but not as fast and not as successfully. So we took down 3 of these, me and this bird. I just had the bird at the time, and yes, it's very, very helpful for shooting things. The amount of times it does a critical hit, it's done critical hits on Lynels, which we'll talk about in a bit. Oh, the Lynels. So they are incredibly useful, and they really do help take down foes. They are, sometimes they're just not good at getting them. They just run around the Goron with their every sword in the air most of the time. Oh, come over here, I'm trying to hit you. They're both in the way and not around when you need them. For something so transparent, they block the vision very much. I can't see past the Goron most of the time. He's quite huge and he takes up a good percentage of me camera. I can't see most of the time. I know they try their best to get behind you and shit to not get in the way, but the amount of times they do just get in the way. They're very hard to see through considering they're so transparent. The amount of times I've needed the Goron and he's running around trying to hit an enemy and he's on the other side of the room trying to hit the enemy. I need him to roll to smash something. Well, it was a Talus, but a Talus, it had a glowing stone in its arse. It wasn't on its back, it was in its arse. So I can't hit this really, I don't really know how to hit this very well. So I was trying to get the Goron to roll into it, but he was on the other side of the room trying to hit it with his sword. Guys, you need to hit the stone. Hitting it in the legs, it's not gonna do anything really. It's just gonna go, oh, it didn't do anything. So I needed this Goron to just roll into this Talus while it was down and the stone was exposed, but he was on the other side of the room doing his own thing. The amount of times I just need the Goron to roll into something, like a pier area. It's like a pier. I just travelled through the ice to get a guide to his friend, and then there was just a stone that I needed to break, and I just needed the Goron to roll into it. And I was like, where is the Goron? And I noticed he was stuck down on the jetty. He was still on the platforms by the water, which was like a good sort of 10-20 feet away from it. It's like, I need you here, and he was just stood there. I don't know what the hell he was doing. He was thinking about the rock roasts again, probably. No, that's how I just need him to roll into an enemy. I need him to roll into a wall or something, and he's not anywhere near me. The bird is constantly in the way. So many people have complained about him blowing valuables off of a cliff, and because you press the same button to summon these guides to do their thing as picking up stuff, when you're spamming something on the ground, the amount of times he'll go, we need me, and it's behind you doing this, and you're like, oh god, don't do that, and you just know you have to press the button again to do it, so it's not a total tragedy. But you know that he's ready to blow away your valuables, and he does it all the time. He's always kind of summoned. It's always, and on occasion the Goron is just gone off into the distance. I've accidentally summoned him and sent him off into the distance, and he's set fire to everything because he's just gone off and the friction's too much, and he's just set fire to all of the grass and the trees. He's gone off on a flaming adventure. So the guides are just a little bit of a nightmare. Now you can turn them off, but they really come in handy for fights, and you're getting a lot of fights because there's no Majora's Mask. I loved Majora's Mask in Breath of the Wild because I wore it all the time because I could just get on with the game. Sometimes I just want to get on with the game and I don't want to fight. The blobs and the Octoroxals give you away though, don't they? As soon as they come out, they know for some reason that it's Link in a mask. I don't know why they're like, say, that's a nice mask. Can we be friends? Are you feeding me melons? That's nice. They're so cute when you feed them, aren't they? They're so fucking cute. Like the Lizzofuzzes. Goblins, I get so fucking excited over a melon, don't I? Fucking melons! Fucking years! I love looking through my binoculars and the little faces going past my binoculars or whatever. I just love feeding them, but I can't do that now. But the fucking blobs come out. Choo jelly blob. They always get in the way. They always come out when you want to just do something, don't they? Them and Stalfosses just love to come out when you're just trying to do stuff, trying to fit a thing in a Korok puzzle. Oh my god, I need to go to the right and I flip it upside down. And here comes a freaking Stalfoss. Oh, hello. See, you're doing a puzzle there. You need your constant. I don't time to drop it and I go, will you off and trying to do something? So I miss Majora's Mask because it just just took away the stress of all these fucking pointless enemies just wanting to attack you all the time. And when I told you could just float into somebody's camp and you could just steal their chest and go. Just steal the chests from under their noses. And then you can just fly off and get on with it, stealing their stuff. I just sometimes just want to solve a comic puzzle. Like cut down some trees to get some wood, but now I have to find a fucking Starforce. Stick off Starforce, you assholes. I love it when you pop out the floor in front of people. It's so entertaining to pop out in front of a guy. It's like, oh, he didn't even question it. I was just, oh, man's come out the floor. That's really unusual, wasn't it? So, speaking of guides, I noticed a Lionel. I was going through the snowy region and I noticed a Lionel in the distance, and I looked at me stuff, I looked at me arsenal, and I was like, my weapons are okay, but I ain't got many. I haven't really got many strong weapons. I need to make some. Somebody had connected mushrooms onto a sword. It's just displayed at the side. Mushroom sword. I was like, well, what does that do? Yeah, so I noticed the Lionel, and I noticed 2 ice blocks and I could see something inside. So I set a campfire in between. It's melting slowly, and you could see an arm, a little hand and a toe sticking out. I was like, what is it? What's the mystery creature in the ice? And I'm just waiting for this to defrost before I decide should I fight the Lionel or not. And they'd already started a fight with him. An arrow hit me and a fairy resurrected me, and they'd already picked a fight with this Lionel. Look guys, I really respect your confidence in your battle abilities, but I need to really think, can I take on this Lionel? Have I really got the stuff? Because they're fine as long as you've got a lot of good weapons, but if you ain't, hit it with a stick continuously, it's not really going to do much other than piss it off. So I already started a fight with the Lionel. Guys, what the fuck? But they would do that with the dragon as well. 3-headed dragon, that looks fun. Like, let's do that. Let's do that. That'll help against the Demon King. Oh, no, I do want to fight the 3-headed dragon, actually. I'm so afraid of you. Cougar pissed me off. He's supposed to be a funny bad guy, isn't he? And in a way he is, but I just could not be bothered with his shit. Oh, he's fighting me again. For God's sake, what's he doing now? And the first time he was in his plane, wasn't it? It was a nightmare because I had nothing on me. I mentioned it in a previous video. So he's really easy if you have stuff. Like Marcus played it, he had the Goron at the time, and he did the boat one. We were boating around after him, which I was so stressed by. But Marcus had the Goron, so he just kept firing the Goron at him, and it was really easy. So if you've got the right stuff, like New Kids on the Block, he's really easy and he's quite a joke really, but I've fought him with like nothing basically. Not very good equipment, no help on my side, so he's been a bit of a nightmare to him. God, get the hen, Cougar, will you piss off? I don't even know what he's called. Cougar Wooga. Cougar Wooga from the Jaeger clan. But yeah, the block things, oh my god, there was one where he switched his blocks around on his shoulder. I'm like, oh, fuck off. I can deal with you normally, but I do none of that teleporting the block shenanigans. Some of them are so hard. Gonna go. It's really dark now actually. Now I need to actually turn the light on because it's actually really dark. Suppose you can even see me. Anyway, I'm gonna go. Bye guys.